Junkie Nation, gorgeous Georgian goes, delivering another superstar. This time we're talking to Cezar Ferreira, who is going to be fighting at PFL 2021 Week 9, 10 p.m. Eastern on ESPN2. Cezar's in the semifinals of the light heavyweight division versus Marthin Hamlet. What's going on, Cezar? How are you?
Good. Getting ready for a fight. Excited. Let's go.
You got to be excited to be, commencing the playoffs, and you win a fight, and now you're in the finals. That's kind of really, really a nice outlook for a fighter to know in 2021, this is what I got to do in the regular season. And if I get to the playoffs, I win a belt, I win some money. That's probably different than any other year you've ever had where the focus was just 1 year.
Yeah, 100%. I like the PFL concept, the tournament. So all you have to do is, put some work, win your fights, and you're gonna get your belt and your championship fight. There is no trash talk involved, none of that. I like it. It's more like it's more sport than entertainment.
Right. And I went back to look to see if you had ever fought 4 times in 1 year, and you did. It involved the reality show, but you won the reality show. The Ultimate Fighter Brazil. So you had the exhibition bouts, and then you had the finals. So 2012 was a great year for you, but 2016 was also a great year for you. You won 3 that year. What do you look back on those times when you were streaking like that and everything was clicking? What do you attribute that to?
Well, I was having this conversation with my coach today. This is going to be the third or second year that I'm going to be able to fight like 3 times in a year. And I could that in the past because I had so many injury. And plus, I had some good years that I had one fight like in January. And for some reason, I was offered like another fight just in December, like a 1 year layoff for nothing. So that's good. PFL is good because, keep you busy. You fight like almost every 3 months. It's awesome. It's amazing. I'm very happy in this organization.
Yeah. Well, the other thing I wanted to ask you was let me see here. Sorry. I also wanted to tell you, do you feel like you're a little underrated? Because, we have to study the fighters that we're going to interview. And I was just telling my brother here I go, look at the wins that Cezar has. We call them in English, there's a saying, skin on the wall, like when a hunter goes hunting and they put the skin on the wall. But I was looking back and it's very impressive. Carl Roberson, Jack Hermanson, Anthony Smith, Thiago Santos. Like, it seems like a lot of people may not remember that or just think about that when they think about you.
Yep. So, in the end of the day, for me, it doesn't matter. So I'm going to do my job anyway. So it's better than people. It's good for me. People forget about my past, but Cezar Ferreira is still here, and I have a lot of skills to show. So you're going to see next week.
Yeah, and a lot of those guys are also like you, where they've had middleweight and light heavyweight run. So this is what I was going to ask you before. Do you ever think that 195 would be a division that's ideal for a lot of fighters that might be – it's too much to cut to 185, but 205 is – there's some big boys that come down from 240 to 205. We used to say this a long time ago about 195, and then it went away. But what are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I agree 100%. So the weight division from one to another is very far. Like a boxing, the weight division is a little bit closer. So because we see some fighters, they don't have size for welterweights, and also they're small for a middleweight. So I think that should happen. They should open a new weight division for MMA. So I saw something 3 years ago. I thought it would happen, but they stopped saying. So I think it's something has to be done soon.
Cezar, we've heard a lot of fighters talk about timing, not with their strikes, but just timing in general. Right time, right place, right emotions, everything, mental, physical. How do you feel right now, Cezar? Is this timing, right time, right place for you?
Oh yeah, well, yeah, 100%. So like I said, I'm being repeated this over again. So I'm very blessed to be in the PFL and respond your question directly. This the right time and the right position where I should be and where I want to be. Great opportunities. Like I'm like only 2 fights away of the belt of $1 million. Is a lot of man. The amount of money I never made in my whole career, and a lot of UFC champion, they never made their money as well. So, right place.
I do want to talk to you about some techniques. You have a technique that I admire a lot, and it's your front kick. Because the way you use it, you can almost use it as a jab, the way you throw it out there, except sometimes you do it to create distance, and sometimes you throw it with massive power. I want to know, is that one of your favorite techniques? And are there other techniques that, even in your career, for as long as it's lasted, that you haven't been able to use yet, that you're just dying to use?
Yeah, this is one of my techniques that I really like it. And so I always think about MMA like it is a game, It's like a violent sport, it's a combat sport, but at the end of the day, you have to think as a game, you know. And I always like to play with that. Sometimes, depend who's gonna be my opponent. I like to to drag him more to his strike, and some other opponents I like to become a wrestler and jiu-jitsu grappler. So being able to do that, you kind of like be unpredictable fighter, and that's I always want to show up.
Cezar, you're with MMA Masters now, right?
Yeah.
So this is a gym that we followed for a long time. It doesn't get talked about as much, but it should. There's a lot of fighters that are coming out of MMA Masters, and I wanted to ask you, what do you like about MMA Masters? Is there something unique about your gym that a lot of people don't know?
Yeah. This is the right word to say, unique. They have like a unique training. So MMA is like a single sport. It's not like a group of sport. You compete on yourself against your opponent. So I've been through a lot of gyms, Black Zillions, Extreme Couture, Black House. We were training with a lot of guys. I saw a lot of way of trains that you can imagine. And those guys from MMA Master, they have the ability, to sharp your personal technique. So there's no reason for me to go in the mat with 30 guys doing every guy doing the same thing, because everyone is different. So they do their job very well. They train every single person different. So for me, for these fights, I have all my coaches around me, my sparring, and we have Kobe Covington to train for Kamaru Usman. They have like a different session. We don't train together because we have different size. We have different skills, different technique that we want to use. That's the secret of MMA Master. They see every fighter as a unique fighter.
So you almost have like a lot of one-on-one versus group session.
100. Yeah, like I can say like 80% one-on-one, 30% group section.
Nice. All right. Last question, and you've probably heard this a lot, but look, you're in the playoffs. That 2-year time, 2 years that you had time off, I know some of it obviously was COVID. All of us had time off. But what do you think it did for you personally, physically and mentally? So when you came back, you were able to, you knocked the guy out the first fight, and like I say, now you're in the playoffs. But how do you think you improved physically and mentally during those 2 years?
Well, technical, physically, and mentally. I've been improved through this year, and I had such a great beginning in the PFL. The last fight wasn't so good because, I never want to give any excuse, but that fight that I had against Akimosi, there was a fight that I should be canceled, but I didn't cancel because I would be put out of the tournament. Because 10 days before a fight, I couldn't even walk because of back pain and some back pain problem that I had. And also I had to take a lot of painkiller, a lot of medication that make me, kind of like intoxicate. People that saw the fight, they see that clear. The first round I was okay, it was good. And then my cardio just disappeared. And then happened what happened. So for this particular fight, this upcoming fight, I'm feeling great training, no injury, no medication. And yeah, if my opponent studied me from based on my last fight, he's going to get a surprise. Because Cezar here is sharp, kicks,
there you
punch.
go.
Now everything's on point.
And no 17-day bubble and no 10-day bubble. I imagine you fighters are a little bit more relieved being in Florida, and it doesn't look like you guys are spending that much of a quarantine time.
Oh yeah, hometown fight. So just 4 days quarantine. I'm gonna have all my training camp in my gym with my guys, with my team. That's great. That's amazing.
Cezar Ferreira against Marthin Nielsen, Friday, August 27th on ESPN2 and ESPN Plus. The fights start with the prelims at 6:30 Eastern, and then at 10 Eastern, check out Cezar in the semifinals of the light heavyweight division. The winner moves on to the finals in October to fight for the belt and $1 million. Cezar, thank you so much for joining us here on MMA Junkie Radio. It's a pleasure to speak to you. I hope you have a safe camp, safe weight cut, and one hell of a fight on August 27th.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.